Hello all, welcome to another session with me, Varun on Ekagra. And in this session, let us talk about the second chapter on general science, and this is for class 8. And the name of the chapter would be Microorganisms, Friend and a Foe or friend and foe means an enemy. So we'll be looking or we'll be understanding at how microorganism is a friend or an enemy to human body or to plants. And for all those of you who don't me, I work as a data scientist. I'm also a YouTuber and I make hip hop videos too. I make rap videos, and for all those of you who enjoy listening to rap, you should check out the channel Hyderabadi Chora. And if you have any queries that you would want to ask or that you might want to reach out to me on, then you can always refer to me on the Instagram profile, or you can refer to me on the comment section below, and I will try to get back to you at the earliest. Now, talking about microorganisms in specific, we all know that when we talk about this variants or these variants of microbes or potentially dangerous or useful variants of living beings, they are very important in order to ensure that the world is properly functioning. Though they have their own set of disadvantages, they are very, very important on at another part too. And when we talk about microorganisms, we see microorganisms are classified into different types. There are some which are bacteria, some which are fungi, some which are protozoans, some which are algae, and we would be talking about each of them in this session. Now, even viruses are also microscopic, but they are different from other microorganisms. So, a lot of times when we are studying, we have this huge confusion between a bacteria, a fungi, and a microorganism or probably virus. But it is to be understood that all of these are a bit different from each other. They're not, entirely different from each other. They have similar qualities amongst each other, but they're equally different too. And again, there are good types of bacteria and bad types of bacteria, good fungi and bad fungi. So we don't decide what it is based on their name. We decide what it is based on their technical name, or we don't generalize them. There are many variants, is what I was trying to say. Now, when we talk about viruses, viruses are also microscopic, but they reproduce only inside the cell of a host organism. That is, unless a virus has not entered into you, it would not reproduce, which may be a variant of bacterium or of a plant or animal. And we have some very invasive, viruses that have, taken their toll on a lot of people, like cold, influenza, and even some coughs that, variant of coughs that we see are caused by viruses, and some very serious problems like polio, chicken pox are also caused by viruses. You all might have heard their names, that is polio or chicken poxes. You might have had friends who just recovered from chicken pox. So all these are the different variants of viruses that we have available. And you have diseases like dysentery, malaria, which are caused by protozoans. Now, what do we mean by protozoan? If you can see, if you can relate to the text here, these are protozoans, and these are caused by different variants of viruses. Now, viruses, they reproduce inside your body, right? While when we talk about inside your body. But when we talk about protozoans, they generally manifest and then they are pushed into your body. They are born outside and then they are pushed into your body. You have TB, which is tuberculosis. TB has affected the world a lot. A lot of people die annually because of dangerous disease like TB. We all know typhoid. Typhoid still can be cured very easily. So these are the two very important invasive kind of diseases that you may want to remember based on their names. But then, how do they look like, and what are the different types of bacteria we have? Now, I have a small image that I've taken from Google just to make things easier for you. So if you can see, bacteria exists in different shapes. You have spherical variant, you have rod shaped, you have spiral shaped bacteria, and then you have comma shaped bacteria. And each of these bacteria, they do different effects on different human beings. And if you can see, bacteria vary in size too. You have right from small atom to molecule to lipid. Likewise, when we talk about bacteria and virus, as you can see, they are a bit bigger in size as compared to proteins and bit smaller as compared to organisms. And we would need an electron microscope to take a look at each of these. And I hope you know what electron microscope is. And if you don't, then please don't worry. We will be talking about what it is in the sessions to come. So now as in when we look at bacteria, there are different types like amoeba, paramecium, spirogyra, chlamydomonas. We have bread molds like yeast. We have penicillin, aspergillus. So all of these are different variants of bacterium that exist in human body and elsewhere too. But then, having said this, there are two variants of bacterium or microorganisms that exist in this world, one being friendly and the other being invasive, or one being friendly and the other being dangerous. Now, where do microorganisms basically live, or what is their stay place? Microorganisms, they live and they manifest anywhere in this nature. As you can see, even if you have cleaned something, or even if the area is clean with Dettol, even in that case, you would notice that in spite of cleaning, there would be some bacteria which lives there. And it is impossible to eliminate all the virus or all the bacteria 100% in any place. And also they play a very important role in our life. For example, like while we were talking about crops and plant production in the previous video, we know how soil fertility is increased by nitrogen fixation bacteria or nitrogen fixation plants, leguminous plants. We have gone through them, right? And microorganisms have been used for production of alcohol also, and alcohol has been is in use since ages. So what basically happens is the organic waste. So I'm just considering an example that is done in soil fertility. The organic waste that you put onto your soil is broken down, and bacteria which is available there reuse this for their healthy production, and then the soil fertility is increased by fixing nitrogen because of these variants of bacteria available in your soil. Now, going forward, even curd is another example where milk is fermented into curd. Even this process involves lactobacillus, which is another variant of bacterium. The same thing happens to idli or probably suji, which we eat. They are all fermented, and we see how they have small bubbles on their texture or on this or on their topmost layer. And if you add only this much of maida and you just put it to fermentation, you would notice that by tomorrow morning it completely fills the bowl and you have a different smell altogether. Now, all this happens because of existence of bacteria. And first person to discover bacteria through the process of fermentation was Louis Pasteur in his very famous thing called pasteurization. We'll talk about what pasteurization is as we keep going ahead. But then, to give you an example, commercial use of microorganisms is also done. We see how microorganisms are added in juices or in wheat or in rice. They add in a lot of places. It is the same fermentation which converts uh, the idli batter for us to eat. The same fermentation is used from milk to curd. The same fermentation process is used even in alcohol, wherein grapes get converted into wine. But then it's not just used in food, it is also used in medicine. When we talk about medicine, there are different variants of tablets that we have, like penicillin, which is an injection. It is to treat a lot of human problems, penicillin, right? Then we have different antibiotics. I'm sure when you might have got affected with fever or a cold or cough, your doctor might have given you some tablets. Now, even these tablets, they are produced from bacteria or fungi only. So the same bacteria which affects us is again the same bacteria which can also treat us in a lot of cases. And some very famous tablets are streptomycin or probably tetracycline and erythromycin, which are used in daily parlance by a lot of people. And then we have another very famous scientist, not to forget Alexander Fleming. In 1929, please remember the time period, Alexander Fleming worked on a culture causing bacteria. And he found that these small pores of green mold that is available on the plates, these molds can be used to treat a lot of uh, diseases which kill people. And that is when the penicillin from mold was prepared. And this is how the world became a bit safer place to stay, thanks to Alexander Fleming. Also, notwithstanding this, we see how this variant of fungi or bacteria is not just used in antibiotics for medicines, but it is also used to feed livestock. They are mixed, with different elements to feed cows and different, cattle that you have in your field. Also, you have disease causing microbes. For example, you have cholera, you have TB, smallpox, hepatitis. Hepatitis B is a problem. It's also called as Hepa B. Hepatitis B, it has killed lakhs of crores of people in this world till to date. But now they are all prevented using vaccines. And again, how are vaccines derived and what do they do? We all know what vaccines do and how they are produced. We know that you have something called as antibodies, which are present in our in every human. Now, these antibodies have the capacity to fight different problems. And whenever your antibodies get weak in your body, you can introduce these vaccines to ensure that your body remains strong and protected against different problems like TB or cholera or dysentery, like we were just talking about. Notwithstanding this, even in your childhood, and it's very famous even now, you have pulse polio program. Even polio is a variant of vaccination that is given to kids. Vaccination. So I'm sure you know this word vaccination now is introduction of different vaccines into your body. Okay, so we have different elements that are sent into your body to ensure that you have a strong defense mechanism to stay protected against these kind of problems. Also, bacteria is used in soil fertility as well in concept of nitrogen fixation, which we just talked a while back. Now, these are different kinds of bacteria. They call it cyanobacteria. Cyano means blue, and it's a color. So cyanobacteria is this availability of blue-green algae that we notice in in a lot of places. Again, we'll talk about it as and when we keep going forward with respect to the topic, so that we don't lose, uh, we don't get diverted into different topics that are available. Now, there are different harmful microorganisms too. All the while we were talking about positive or useful microorganisms, but when you take a look at the other side, there are some very harmful microorganisms which are called pathogens. Now, these pathogens, they enter into your body, or they enter into your food, or they enter into your clothes, and they ensure that they have adverse effects on humans or on food. Your food gets spoiled, or probably you may end up having a disease or a problem. And pathogenal diseases are spread from person to person in different ways. We'll talk about what they are in a chart that you have below. But let us first understand what are the disease causing microorganisms in human body in the first place. Now, when you cough, or probably when you have cold, or you see that when you sneeze all of a sudden, you have different, you have droplets that come out of your mouth, right? Now, these droplets, they carry bacteria, or they have presence of microorganisms when you sneeze or when you yawn or when you talk. Now, when a person is suffering from common cold or cough, we all know that they sneeze or they cough, and when they do it, this droplets that come out of your mouth, they land on another person, and that is how the other person also gets affected. Another very famous example is a mosquito, how mosquito spreads malaria or dengue as virus. We know that female anopheles mosquito, as you can see from the image below, this variant of mosquito, it causes many dangerous problems, and one of them is malaria, while Aedes mosquito causes dengue. Now, this is something that you may want to remember. Anopheles mosquito, it causes malaria, while at the same time you have something called as Aedes, which causes dengue. Now, dengue is something which started in parts of Europe and then it spread out to different parts of the globe. So this is how uh, you have effect of different bacteria or different virus or different pathogens on different humans. And here are some very famous examples just for you to make a note. TB, or measles or chickenpox or polio, you see that all of these they get transmitted through air. Even if you breathe, there's high chance that another person might acquire them. But the causative microorganisms are different. TB is caused through bacteria. Cholera, typhoid, they're all caused through bacteria. Malaria, on the other hand, is caused by protozoan. And malaria cannot spread from one person to another person when he talks or when he's eating. It can be spread only through a mosquito. But there are other modes of transmission like water. Like if you have hepatitis A and if you drink or if you exchange water in the same glass, there are high chances that the other person might also get affected with hepatitis A. And this is how these organisms become, or these bacteria or these diseases become very dangerous when you are amongst your friends or when you are amongst your family members. And diseases causing microorganisms in animals. Here we have Robert Koch, who came up with a bacterium or who discovered a bacterium which is called Bacillus anthracis, which causes anthrax as a disease. And anthrax is very dangerous. It could be for human or it could be for cattle, like your cow or anything. You have also something called, as foot and mouth disease. This is caused in cattle and this is caused by virus. Things like these have been eliminated as and when they have been discovered. And there are also diseases which cause microorganisms in plants. Like no one is free from these problems which are caused by microorganisms. It could be humans, it could be plants, or it could be animals. They all get affected. And here you see you have, these are some names: citrus canker, which is caused by bacteria. You have rust of wheat. Rust of wheat is when you see your wheat plant, the leaf on the wheat plant, they turn rusty. They have this color of rust. It's called rust of wheat. And then you have yellow vein or mosaic. Now this generally happens on bindi. Bindi is the lady finger. It's also technical, the technical name or the scientific name is okra. Now, viruses here they ensure that the leaves of bindi they get spoiled, and insects transfer these diseases. So there are different diseases which are getting affected to an organism in different ways or with different microorganisms, and they get transferred from one plant to another plant in different modes. And all of these are very important for us to understand as and when you keep going forward with age and probably with time and with your class also. Food poisoning also happens because of presence of these kind of bacteria only. And how can we stop microorganisms from entering food, or how can we preserve them? Now, this is where you have different preservatives that come into picture. Nowadays, we use this process of chemical preservation, which is which kind of has its own advantages and disadvantages as well. But then what do we use in them? We use sodium benzoate, as you can see, and we also use something called as sodium metabisulfate or bisulfite to be more precise. So these two elements, that is sodium, elements of sodium, either benzoate or metabisulfate, they are used in order to prevent food from spoiling. But then they are chemicals that are used. They're not natural methods of preservation. On the other hand, we have natural methods of preservation too, which is common salt. We see how mangoes or how pickles are stored using common salt or rock salt. Then we have preservation through sugars, that is, jams and jellies and squashes are preserved by sugar. In this, the sugar does not ensure that they don't get spoiled. Bacteria is avoided in a lot of variants of sugars. And notwithstanding sugars, you have oil and vinegar. Vinegar is also another element that has been used to preserve since ages. Vinegar is probably one of the most, vinegar and salt are probably one of the most oldest variants of preservation techniques. Then you have heat and cold treatments. You can deep freeze them. in your freezers, and we see how non-veg or fruits are generally deep freezed to ensure that they're not spoiled. And then we have something called as pasteurization. We were talking about pasteurization by Louis Pasteur, right? Now, what is pasteurization? That is heating and cooling process. We see how milk is heated to about 70 degrees centigrade for a while, and then it is suddenly cooled, or it is suddenly put into a fridge. And why do we do that? It prevents the growth of microbes when you do this. And this process was discovered by Louis Pasteur and is called as pasteurization. Very important from your exams perspective. Please remember the name and the process as well. And then we have something called as nitrogen fixation, which is introduction of a bacteria called rhizobium. We've discussed about this in your previous chapter too, so I don't want to repeat things again and again so that you can save your time. And then finally, the most important thing is nitrogen cycle. We all know that nitrogen exists in this globe by almost around 78, 76%. And 78, we might feel that it's very high, but even 1 or 2% of variation can cause a lot of effect on the planet. And we, again, a lot of people get confused that we have greater oxygen levels in this globe. But trust me, nitrogen is the one which we have at highest levels in the world. And nitrogen is used by every organism. It's used by your DNA, it's used by vitamins, acids, chlorophyll, protein, animals. I mean, nitrogen is the one which ensures that we are still living in this world. Okay. Now there are certain ways to ensure that nitrogen is fixed back into your soil, and that can be done using certain bacteria or fungi or algae that's present. Blue-green algae, for an example, are really good at fixing nitrogen. We also have certain bacteria like cyanobacteria, which also helps in doing this. And like you all might be wondering, like, why do we need so much of nitrogen in the first place? But I want you to remember that nitrogen is used for synthesis of plant proteins and for other compounds as well. Now, when we talk about plants and animals and how they die and what happens to them after they die, you see how fungus and bacteria takes over them, and it all breaks down into nitrogenous compounds, and it is used by the same plants again. So every human who dies, or every animal which is dead, it goes back into the same soil. It becomes part of the soil, and then it again comes back to the world as nitrogen. And there's a huge cycle. This is called as the nitrogen cycle, and we just see in atmosphere, nitrogen is given in two ways. The first is through lightning and thunder. Whenever you hear a lightning, please understand that there's a blast of nitrogen released into your atmosphere. And also we may use manual or techniques, using bacteria wherein nitrogen is fixed using these. But lightning is a very important and a very natural process. Now, after it happens, you see how compounds of nitrogen is released into the soil, and then the bacteria that's available, it takes the soil and it again releases it back into the atmosphere. Then it is taken by the plants. We eat plants, I mean animals and humans, we eat plants or products of plants, and then we have excreta or nitrogenous waste that is released from excreta, and then it again goes back into the soil, and then again it's taken by plants. So there is a huge cycle that keeps repeating again and again. And this is how you see that the balance of nitrogen is maintained in this globe. So now we have different key terms like algae. We all know what is algae. Algae and fungi that are produced naturally. Antibiotics is something that we take to keep ourselves defended from any problems or diseases. Antibodies are naturally produced in your body, right? Antibodies, they fight any kind of negative or any kind of bacteria that enters your body. Bacteria is again divided into two types, good bacteria and bad bacteria. We have seen what their variants are. Carrier are those organisms which carry a problem from one place to another, or which carry a disease or pathogens. Mosquito is an example. Communicable disease, you have cold, you have cough, which passes from one person to another. It could be through different mediums like through water or through food, etc. Fermentation, we've seen what fermentation is. Fermentation is that process wherein uh, your alcohol or probably your idli batter, they're all prepared because of bacteria available in it. You have fungi. We've discussed what it is. Lactobacillus is a variant or is a bacteria which is available to convert a lot of to convert milk into curd, right? Lacto is the sugar that's available, right? Then you have microorganisms. We know what different types of microorganisms now. What is nitrogen cycle? We've just seen how nitrogen is a vicious cycle from plant to human or animal, and then again back to the plant, and how nitrogen is introduced or how nitrogen comes into the world whenever there's lightning. We know what is nitrogen fixation and how it happens. Pasteurization, discovered by Louis Pasteur. Please do not forget the name. This is an instant heating and cooling process to avoid microorganisms. Then you have pathogens. We've discussed what pathogen is, how mosquito can act or how mosquitoes introduce pathogens into your body. Preservation, different ways of preservatives like salt preservation, chemical preservation, sugar preservation, different variants. Protozoans, rhizobium. Rhizobium is for nitrogen fixing or nitrogen fixation in your soil. And then we have vaccines, which are introduced into your body to ensure that you remain healthy or that you can fight off certain bacteria. And that is why we do vaccination. And an example of vaccination is this pulse polio program, wherein polio drops are introduced into the mouth of a kid uh, through drops, right? So these are different variants of preservation techniques or the different variants of bacteria that we have. So I really hope that now you should be able to answer all these question and answers and also be able to come up with good answers for all these blocks that you have available. And if you have any query at any given point of time, then please reach out to me on the Instagram platform and I'll be more than happy to help you. Till then, let us spread peace and love. I really hope that you do your best, all the best for your exam and cheers. Have a great day. Thank you very much.